Okay, so another little video that I wanted to make with regards to the C9 and the 2019 soundbar from LG. Now, both of these are LG products. I believe this is their flagship soundbar, and whilst the C series isn't flagship per se, in the general market, because they did have the G series, I believe, last year, there was one above the C series, and then obviously you had the wallpaper TV above that. Now, you would think that a company the size of LG, the departments would actually talk to each other. Now, it's quite strange to me that the soundbar, so the TV has the power cable on this side and the HDMI ports on this side. So they come down and they meet down here. Now the soundbar has it the opposite way around. So it's got the power cable that side and it's got the HDMI ports on this side. So you're crisscrossing for both of these, and it results in your cable management being quite awful. I mean, obviously on this one I've managed to get it quite tidy with just the single cable trunking to actually hide away all the cables. But the actual power cable only just reaches to where I've actually got it plugged in. Ideally, you want the cabling behind the TV. However, I didn't want to actually put separate power behind there because I have actually got them going to a surge protector. And basically behind the TV, obviously it's wall mounted, and I don't want it to be coming away from the wall in that way. The other thing that you would have obviously noticed by now is I have a media console and I've got my soundbar, and I have had other TVs on this soundbar, on the media console, and the soundbar was a lot further forward, so right to the end, and then the TV was behind it. And initially I wanted to have my LG set up in the same way. However, the other thing that comes back to my first point, where you'd think a company the size of LG, departments would be able to talk to each other. So this soundbar is just too tall to where the original stand on the C9 sits. So what ends up happening is the very bottom edge of the TV is covered by the soundbar when you've got the original stand. Now the TV on its own looks really good because of being such a low stand. However, when you've got a soundbar, and this is obviously designed for the LG TVs, because if you look at the width, it fits in perfectly with the 65-inch TV. So when you've got a soundbar that's designed for your TVs, and the sound on the TV is quite good, but obviously a dedicated soundbar is always going to sound better, you would think that they would design it in such a way where it only had to be a few millimeters taller, and then I wouldn't have had to wall mount the TV. Ideally, I would have preferred to have it just sat on the media console. As it turns out, this is actually slightly better for me in terms of getting in here and making changes and pulling this forward. However, it's not ideal because I've had to wall mount the TV just to be able to see the whole picture. Also, obviously, the closer your center speaker is to the middle of the TV, ideally, the better your sound reproduction is going to end up being. So with it being just below, obviously it's not too bad. If it was all the way down here, your sound would sound like it's coming slightly off. But even where it is, it's probably as best as I could get it in terms of placement. Now, just on the sound production of the TV, I was actually quite impressed by the sound coming from the LG C9. Obviously, I purchased the soundbar prior to buying the TV, so I actually had the soundbar hooked up to a TCL TV that I'll make a video on at a later date, and I was so impressed by the sound and everything with regards to the soundbar itself that actually made me look more into the OLED TV side of things, because I kind of improved the audio to a point where the TV picture was no longer matching. So at that stage, it was a case of, okay, yeah, I need to push this one level up. And to be honest, the OLED is probably the best purchase I've ever done in terms of the impact that it gives you. The soundbar is quite good as well. I've always believed that the audio, when you're watching movies especially, is probably more important than what you're actually seeing, because you not only hear it, you also feel the audio as well when you've got a nice subwoofer hooked up to it. So the soundbar was very important, but obviously this is my first OLED TV. I've had other OLED devices, obviously my phones are OLED, so I've experienced OLED before, but when you see it on a scale of this with a 65-inch screen, and you watch back the movies that you've seen previously thinking it's a really good picture, and then you see pure blacks, it is something that you can only experience it. You can't really describe it to somebody, because their perception of pure black will never really be there, because everything that they would have seen up until that point probably would have been LED based. So it's deep blacks, but not pure black. And similarly, when you get pure black, every color off that black just pops. Same thing with all of your peak brightnesses. People look at the peak brightness of OLEDs and they're looking at 700-800 nits and thinking, oh, QLEDs can hit 2000 nits. But the thing is, when you have pure blacks, everything from that is so much more. So it enhances everything that actually comes off that screen after that point. So in my mind anyway, I think OLED at this moment in time is the very best picture technology, sorry, in terms of picture quality, for movies, TV shows, anything with high quality image. Anyway, I've gone on a bit too long. I was only meant to make this a short video. So I will have more videos coming. So please do subscribe, hit the bell icon, and like. Obviously, drop any comments or any further questions that you have, and any further video suggestions that you might have for the future. Take care.